Okay, this is from The Intercept. Bill Ackman gave $10,000 to Jonathan Ross GoFundMe created by user linked to Nazi salute image. This is Clyde Emmons. This is a screenshot that The Intercept took where he announced his GoFundMe campaign for Jonathan Ross. The stupid C words, but he says writes the actual word on Facebook. They want to make a GoFundMe for the stupid bitch that got what she deserved. I made one for the ICE officer that did his job. Let's get this man some money. No dog whistles. He took that down, but he's raised several $100,000. He's not going to be prosecuted. The Department of Justice, the FBI, took the case away from the state of from the state of Minnesota. They said it's not your jurisdiction. And the DOJ said it's not putting its Civil Rights Division on the case. Normally, in a shooting like this, the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice is called in because they have forensic experts who can examine shootings like this and determine what really happened. Not going to happen. Justice Department has no interest in finding out whether or not Renee Good's civil rights were violated. 4 attorneys assigned to the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division in Washington, D.C. quit this week after they were told there will be no investigation into this ICE agent's use of force. Todd Blanche, he used to be Donald Trump's criminal defense attorney. He's now the deputy attorney general. He said there's no need for the Justice Department to get involved. He said the FBI is investigating the shooting. And what are they doing? What is the FBI doing? They're looking into Renee Good's past as an activist. That's what the FBI is doing. They're looking into the training that the victim had she trained to protest ICE. So they're looking into whether that might have been criminal or not. The Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, Harmeet Dillon, told her staff that if you're worried, ICE is conducting an internal review to determine whether this agent acted improperly. Meanwhile, 6 attorneys assigned to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minneapolis, these are federal attorneys, they quit this week after they were ordered not to investigate Jonathan Ross, but to investigate Renee Goods, the victim. They were told to look into her activist ties. Well, Bill Ackman, the hedge fund billionaire, said he donated $10,000 to Jonathan Ross's GoFundMe because the whole thing is a tragedy, and Jonathan Ross was just an ICE agent doing his job. No, he wasn't. ICE falls under the Department of Homeland Security's purview. And since 2023, it has been official policy for ICE agents to refrain from standing in front of a vehicle to block it from driving away. It looks like he was temporarily standing in front of Renee Good's vehicle, that violates Homeland Security policy. One 25-year veteran of Homeland Security told Barry Weiss's CBS News, quote, "I never ever wanted to be intentionally in front of the vehicle. You're never supposed to be in front of the vehicle. It's also against Department of Homeland Security to discharge your weapon in order to stop a car from driving away. You're not even allowed to shoot at some people say, well, why didn't he shoot the tires? You're not allowed to shoot at the tires. Not the face, not the tires. You're not allowed to discharge your weapon and fire at a car that is driving off. The use of force policy for ICE explicitly states the only time an ICE agent can fire their weapon at someone inside a car is when the person behind the wheel is about to use deadly force. This is the Garner standard. I talked about this in a previous episode. I cut that piece out. You can find it on YouTube. The Supreme Court ruled in 1985 that law enforcement cannot shoot at a suspect who is fleeing the scene of a crime unless that suspect is armed and is a danger to the community. The shooting of Renee Good merits a civil rights investigation because she was not fleeing the scene of a crime. And more importantly, when she was shot in the face, she was never a threat to the ICE agent or the community. Now, They're doing everything they can to besmirch her, portray her as a radical leftist. We're hearing that she took training on how to interfere legally with ICE operations. It is not a crime to legally interfere with ICE operations, like blowing a whistle or videotaping ICE agents. That's not interfering with ICE agents. If she did, in fact, and she didn't, but if she did, in fact, cross the line and actually physically interfere, she's only subject to arrest, not getting shot in the face. If she drives off, you have her license plate. She's got children. She's not going on the lam. You know where to find her. But you look at this Facebook post set up by this guy, this GoFundMe for Jonathan Ross. This guy who set up the GoFundMe, echoing exactly what we believe Jonathan Ross is heard on tape muttering right after shooting her in the face. Effing bitch. The C word. This guy setting up the GoFundMe called her the C word. C word. So we're not talking about the law. You cannot argue with fascists. This is not about the law or department policy. This is about violent men who believe you should kill Navi women who talk back to an ICE agent. There will be no accountability for Jonathan Ross. Barry Weiss's CBS News is now reporting that despite the uptick in both ICE raids and blatant disregard for Department of Homeland Security policy, more and more shots getting fired by ICE agents. In the past year, Greg Bovino telling CBS News, not a single ICE agent has been disciplined in the past year, and they're not going to be. They are not. They are revving. Trump is revving the ICE agents up because he wants to invoke the Insurrection Act. It's going to get worse. The lower courts, especially in Illinois, tried to rein in ICE near the end of last year. A federal judge in Chicago began monitoring Operation Midway Blitz, even going so far as to demand that Greg Bovino meet with her at the end of each day. But her ruling was overturned. She ordered Greg Bovino to wear a body camera. That was overturned. She ordered ICE agents in Illinois to wear their badge numbers so they could be identified. That was overturned. ICE agents were not allowed to arrest peaceful protesters or fire tear gas at protesters. That was all overturned. These rulings were in response to a lawsuit filed by several Chicago civil rights groups, including the ACLU. And those people who filed that lawsuit are not appealing the rulings that overturned this judge because they're afraid of the Seventh Circuit Court. They're afraid that the Seventh Circuit Court will set a precedent that sides with ICE. They're afraid that the Seventh Circuit Court will give ICE official policy to use tear gas whenever they want to target peaceful protesters. This is leaving civilians more vulnerable and ICE agents feeling more invincible.